to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Yes, so right now we are doing what we usually do every weekend. That is our weekly tags, where we tag folks and just bring them up to par so that they can go live along with us. And so that's what we are currently doing at the moment, everyone.
Who have a knack for recognizing when
Good morning to our viewer. Right now we're just doing our weekly tags. Good morning to our viewers. We are just doing our weekly tags. Good morning to our viewers. All right. You ever just run out of people's names? That's what just happened. And so, all right. So, you good, bro?
I'm ready.
All right. Yes. And so, hello. Good morning, world, and welcome back to yet another fun-filled season here with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast as we embark on our sixth episode. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left some, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page Also, we have an Early Morning Sports Talk podcast page. We have also Instagram, and that is at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD. Again, at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Ian Jones, he's getting the bag this morning. So we have had another fascinating week in the sports world. Today is September 23rd of 2023, and we have seen another fascinating week in the sports world. What we saw, our Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields call out the coaching staff after week 2 loss in Tampa, making it now 12 straight losses for this franchise and making things look dysfunctional even more. Not only after that, but having $100,000 worth of equipment stolen literally out of Soldier Field this past Wednesday. Additionally, our Chicago Sky seasons came to an end this past week as they fell to the Las Vegas Aces, setting up WNBA semifinal matchups between the Las Vegas Aces and Dallas Wings, as well as the New York Liberty versus the Connecticut Sun. Will we get that WNBA Finals matchup that everybody's been craving for? Additionally, the Colorado Buffaloes pulling off a classic double overtime thriller win against a very tough man, Jamar, and talented yet undisciplined Colorado State football team, as well as the MLB playoffs being a week and a half away. And our Chicago Cubs are currently fighting for their positioning for the NL wild card. And so, again, we thank you all for joining us this morning. And so, introducing my brother from another mother and one of my partners here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, my bro. How are you?
And I'm good. I think I just, I don't want my house rated like, Soldier Field or the former defensive coordinator. I'm, looking to see if I see Peanut Tillman anywhere. No, I'm good. We good.
Yeah, man, it's terrible to hear about that. It's really, really bad. So, speaking of, let's begin with our topic this morning. So, it's the same topic as last week. Yes, well, you see the beaches in the background, but us brothers are from Chicago. The Bad News Bears. And so let's start with the Bad News Bears. Jamar, give me your thoughts from this past week. I'll chime in as well. What happened with this game? What did you observe from the quarterback? What did you observe from the team as a whole? And we'll just begin to just conversate about this team because it's been a very tumultuous week for this team. And so, but let's start first and foremost with the loss to Tampa Bay. So, what were your thoughts from this game, bro?
Um, we as a team did not, I guess, we wasn't, it seemed like the same story every time to where, you know, like Justin's, he said it perfectly, like robotic. Um, it looked like he was definitely overthinking. It was definitely a lot of plays and scenarios where, us as fans are starting to question, like, can he like process quickly? Can he read the defense accurately? Like it was things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, to only have glimpses of brilliance in that game and not be consistent, or more so a lot of the inconsistency on offense, the defense, that's a whole nother story. I mean, we didn't even have our defensive coordinator, and it looks like maybe for good reason. But that's a whole nother can of worms right now.
All right,
um
he's out of there.
yeah, that's a wrap. So it just seemed like, like when you see one of those charts to where you see like, expectations like so high and then reality so low. And not saying that we had expectations through the roof, but we expected, for this team to be a lot more competitive, a lot more, you know, um, basically not at the bottom of the barrel type deal. Because it feels like to a lot of people, we are still the worst team in football, and
Mm-hmm.
we're playing like it. So against Tampa, man, to let Mike Evans, just do what he wanted against us, um, to continue to allow Baker Mayfield to resurrect his career, that is happening right now. To the fact that our buddy Justin not really, getting the ball out quickly or running, or Luke Getsy putting him in an actual position to succeed here. It's just mind boggling, man. Um, and that's
Right.
one thing that I definitely want to highlight is Luke Getsy, is the fact that, and you hear about it throughout all of this whole week, from ESPN to Undisputed to whomever, just national coverage, is the fact that Justin, number one, Justin is not running as much as he did last year by any means.
No,
That
not by
man,
any means. These first two games, I mean, it feel like it's been an experiment with them trying to get him to throw the ball more and teach him how to be a real quarterback in their eyes, a Chicago quarterback that's going to just sit back there and throw that ball.
right. And I mean, that's fine and dandy if you have somebody that's their biggest strength, is to do that
Exactly.
all the time. But the fact is, when the Bears actually, after the Commanders game last year, when they allowed him to just make plays and just play freely, you saw that the offense took a big jump. You saw that the fact that Justin Fields ran for what, 1,000, almost 1,100 yards or whatever it was last year. He only had 5 design runs so far this year, just 5.
Right.
And at that point, like, the offense becomes predictable.
Yep.
Especially if we just throwing bubble screens all over the place. Just like
Prescott,
JB just
JB.
said. So pretty much, I mean, that's all it is. And if you want to mix that in with other things, fine. But if you're just consistently doing that, and not to mention the nail in the coffin when he threw that pick six, to my understanding, then they run the same play 3 times.
3 times in a row.
So, like, we just basically giving away games. And the last thing I'll say about, Justin Fields and Luke Getsy and all this, like, I appreciate Justin for being honest in that meeting, in that press conference. I do. And, to a lot of people, he threw his coach under the bus. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't, if he did or didn't, I don't care. I just, the fact that, he was honest about overthinking. He just needs to play freely. He just said, just F that. I'm just go out here and just play the game I know how to play. And so with that being said, I'm hoping that we actually get some more design runs. I ain't saying you got to run the man 20 times a game, but I'm saying you got to mix it up some. You utilize that strength for his that catch defenses off guard. Do some RPOs. I would love to see that. Do some read options. Do some bootlegs. Like, create movement. Obviously, the offensive line isn't healthy. I mean, Braxton Jones on IR now, so on top of Tevin Jenkins being out, it's like you got to mix it up. You cannot run the same predictable bubble screen offense and screen passes all day and night. You can't do it.
Right. And that is the crazy part is if we're out there playing defense, Jamar, we see bubble screens 30-40% of the game. I mean, damn it, we're going to pick up on it too. But I ask this. Do Luke Getsy know something that the world doesn't know? Because obviously he's practiced with him, right? This is his second year as offensive coordinator for this team. We saw a big difference these first 2 games compared to the offense last year, especially after that New England game. And we see basically Justin not being able to play the game that we know him to play. My question is do you think he had him planned this way because he was trying to protect Justin? Trying to protect him, number one, from making mistakes, and number 2, because he possibly doesn't want him to get hurt by running the ball so much.
Right. So here's what I say. I feel like it's almost, that perspective is almost irrelevant, because of the fact is, prior to the New England game last year, I mean, we basically almost to a certain degree saw what we're seeing now. We let Justin play. All of a sudden, the Bears are actually scoring points and being competitive and being within a score of every game that they lost during that stretch, but actually scoring points. And now we're back to basically the same type of offense to a certain degree, but you added DJ Moore, who was supposed to be there to help elevate.
Who had a great game, by the way. Just wasn't giving. He wasn't giving the ball enough. He was not giving the ball enough.
Dude, did you? I don't know if you heard the soundbite, but I want to say Devin White from the Buccaneers was basically telling DJ Moore, "It's like, I'm used to tackling you. They're not utilizing you. They're not using you right." He literally told that to DJ Moore.
Wow.
So it's like when you have that happening, when like basically like we said, when the defense sees this, they know this. It's like it's easy pickings. It's ridiculous, man. So
right,
it doesn't matter if the perspective of trying to protect him, like scratch all that, because at the end of the day, this is not like jobs are going to be at stake here. Like if it comes in this trajectory, Luke Getsy not going to have a job anymore. So
well, he won't have a job very quickly.
Exactly.
It'll be very, very soon. I totally agree. We already got the defensive coordinator who resigned this week abruptly because he's under investigation. And so, God damn it, Luke Getsy should be under investigation for the play calling. God damn it, he should be under investigation because is he trying to tank on purpose? He need to be put under investigation. If I was a damn FBI detective, I'd be at Soldier Field not only checking on the equipment, but I'd talk to Luke Getsy and pull him to the side and say, what the hell are you doing with the offense? You need to be put under investigation. On the other hand, talking about investigation, we need a damn investigation for the secondary. The damn secondary, I mean, they got murdered by Mike Evans. Did anybody see the game? Did anybody see how Mike Evans made the Chicago Bears defense look like kids out there? I mean, like legitly, whenever they needed a big play, Big Mike Evans was there. He was getting big chunks when he got the ball, Jamar. These wasn't just little 1-2 yard passes. These 50, 40, 30-yard catches all over the field. I don't even know his numbers, but I know damn sure he was over 100-some yards. Damn, they're probably 200. Like he dominated the Bears defense and made them look abysmal out there. And so it's a team effort here. The Bears think the defense is out of sync. The linebackers are not what I thought they were. The secondary, they looking abysmal. And the defensive line can't even sack a parked car. That's bad. My car parking, you still can't sack it. That's bad. Not only to mention Justin Fields out here complaining, equipment getting stolen. We put up a question, y'all, on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page. So we asked a question. And the question was, which Chicago franchise is the most dysfunctional? And damn it, I mean, you got an answer for all of the above between the Chicago Bears, the Chicago Bulls, and the Chicago White Sox. And so, in y'all opinion, which franchise is the most dysfunctional? Because right now, Chicago franchises are terrible. The biggest winner we got right now is the Cubs, and they ain't even guaranteed to make playoffs. Right now, they fighting for a wild card position that they probably lose out on because other teams got more games than them. We'll see. Let's hope the Cubs get in. And so it's a very, very tough time right now for our Bears, and I just hope that they are able to weather the storm because at least, Jamar, the positive, bro, is that we're going through this at least after week 2. This ain't week 16. This ain't week 17. So we got time to fix the ship. This could be fixed. The ship could be put back in the right direction. You just, gotta, as Chicago saying, as everybody's saying, let Justin do Justin. Michael Vick, I felt like had that freedom in Atlanta, bro, like where they let him play. Like they wasn't just necessarily trying to put clamps on him, make him be a robotic Chicago quarterback. I wonder if the Chicago franchise is saying that to Luke Getsy and they making him who knows, Jamar. Are they in his ear? Like, yeah. On the other hand, Prescott JB stated that the FBI showed up to Hallis Hall to look for a competent game plan and found nothing. Yes, totally agree, Prescott JB. They showed up to Hallis Hall, and God damn it, guess what Getsy said? He said, I ain't snitching for nobody. They showed up to Hallis Hall. He said, I ain't snitching, and went right back into the locker room. And that's all the FBI got out of him. And so this goes to show you that right now, the Chicago Bears need to be put on an investigation for their damn play calling, for the secondary being suspect, for the damn defensive line being trash, for the offensive linemen being goddamn murderers because they getting Justin Field murdered out there. On top of that, the damn linebackers out there acting like they want to be thugs, but really they what do you call that, Jamar? Tomato cans. Yeah, really they out there being tomato cans. And
Right.
so, yeah, man. What was you gonna say?
So I was just gonna highlight how bad the secondary was in that game. Baker Mayfield was 26 out of 34 for
Damn,
300.
Baker Mayfield.
Yes, 317 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He didn't get sacked once. Mike Evans, 6 catches for 171 and a touchdown.
Wow, and he didn't get sacked once. That goes to show you just how trash the defensive line is.
On the radio, they said the first sack of the season was
Came from a linebacker or a safety?
No, it came from the FBI.
So the Bears have yet to get a sack this season.
Not, I think 1 coverage sack in the first game. That's it. Like,
that is pitiful. And they say that that's the defensive line. And so it goes to show you that this is a team effort. But the crazy part about it is, Jamar, me, you, Prescott, JB, in the world, no, the Bears should have won that game against them. I mean, literally, like if Stevenson even stopped the bomb that went right over his head with Mike Evans on 3rd and 14, Jamar, remember? 3rd and 14, right? You know, this is supposed to be textbook basic football, y'all. You get pressure on the quarterback because you know he's about to pass the ball. He has no choice. The Bears literally go back in the famous defense we've always played. Tampa 3 or something like that? Tampa 2. And that's a prevent defense. But you still let them over the back of your defense. It gets no worse than that. Literally, I'm on Fox and they talking about it as the game going. Like, come on, guys. You can't give that up when you're playing Tampa 2. You can't let him go to the back of your defense and literally go over the head of your defense. No, that's a prevent defense. So that goes to show you literally just how bad things is. And so we got the Chiefs tomorrow. So we'll talk about that shortly. Maybe the Bears will come out with some pride and surprise. But yeah, bro, that's currently where the Bears stand right now. You got any further comments on the bad news Bears, Jamar?
No, Justin said it all.
Justin said it all. Yes. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Cornerback Trayvon Diggs, Dallas Cowboys cornerback, bro. He's out for the season. And this ACL just happened this past Thursday randomly. Curious to know, with his injury, how do you feel about this injury? And does this still make the Cowboys, are they still a threat for the NFC? Being that Trayvon Diggs, a huge playmaker, now is out for the season for this team.
I mean, they're still legit. I mean, Trayvon Diggs, we know he's a baller out there. Now he's a gambler, but he's still a baller. But I mean, nevertheless, like if they not added Stephon Gilmore in the offseason, then I'll be a little,
right.
But that defense is still collectively has been balling out, lights out, and I understand
they got a defensive line.
They do. Like, well, we already know about Parsons. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's actually, look like he's motivated again and living up to that contract right now.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, they played Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson, but still, like that defense, I feel like against probably about anybody, probably darn near look the same way. So I mean, team is still legit.
Yeah, they look all world, that defense, man. Like just shutting folks clean down. The Giants literally have stinked their first 3 games. I mean, it took a miracle for them to come back against the Cardinals. and Joshua Dobbs. But basically, the Dallas Cowboys, they look legit. Micah Parsons, for me right now, bro, he's the best player in football. Just right now. Like, there's nobody that can block him. Nobody. And I'm loving how when he's sacking folks, he doing a gorilla after he sack them. So like he literally run through the quarterback and just get right back down and do the bear crawl. It is a beautiful thing for technique wise to see somebody sack somebody and then literally stay right on the ground and do the bear crawl. That shows just how athletic he is. This man is a dominant machine. And so my point is, Jamar, is if you got still Stephon Gilmore on the other side, maybe you find a guy that can plug in that can at least cover. You do got a nice safety. We know about the linebackers. They've been there for years. Nijulian has been one of the most productive linebackers in the league for years. But on top of that, DeMarcus Lawrence is very motivated. And we see with the defensive line, I mean, they've been given guys, I mean, these two quarterbacks that they played, they barely had time to even get off the ball. It's been that fast. Like, I said to Ian last week that they sacked the quarterback. It took them about 1.5 seconds, Jamar, less than 2 seconds. That is just godly fast. Like, that's unreal to get to somebody that fast. And so it shows you just how legit this defense is. And so although Trayvon Diggs is one of the best corners in football, and we all agree to that, he's one of the best playmakers in football as well. Sometimes that defensive line is what matters, because when you got that defensive line, Jamar, it just creates fits for everything else, and it makes the quarterback job and everybody else's job easy, because that first level is doing its job.
If the just any like perennial Super Bowl team that we've seen that can create pressure with their front four. I mean, it's been lights out. Just like the year that we had a really good record, Kyle Fuller was able to get a lot of interceptions that year because the front four was generating a lot of pressure with Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks. I mean, front four. I mean, like the Giants, when they won the Super Bowls, their front four was creating pressure. When you can create pressure without blitzing,
right,
it makes things a lot easier for everybody.
Exactly. This is facts, bro. This is absolute facts. And so, yes. All right. Let's continue on with our conversation, world. And so, right now, we've been seeing a number of injuries that has been occurring in football. And you got a debate that's going on right now between turf and grass. And basically, we see that Aaron Rodgers, he's gotten hurt recently. And so, just quickly, bro, like, if you had to choose between the two, which one would you choose in this day and age?
Oh, grass, by far, man. If I'm not mistaken, a vast majority of non-contact injuries happen on turf, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, by far. I don't care how pretty it looks. I mean, for the safety and for your brand, I would imagine you would want grass to keep your players healthy out there. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. I'm with you. We've seen a lot of injuries that has occurred in the offseason, especially, but even, I mean, previous years, you guys, with this debate between turf and grass. And so on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we wanted to kind of hit on it just a little bit to try to get a wave momentum going to where teams can try to get more grass out there on their fields. Even if you have an inside stadium, there's a such thing as artificial grass. And so there's ways to put grass on the fields for the safety of the players and just for the safety of your brand. Aaron Rodgers being out is a prime example, but it's been plenty examples prior to. And so hopefully over time, we'll see the NFL begin to make more adjustments with this so that more injuries don't occur, especially to your superstars. All right. Let's not progress, bro, to NFL reactions and overreactions. So, all right. Week 3 edition, bro. Is it an overreaction to agree that more changes will be coming in the coming weeks in the Chicago Bears organization if this offense and team continues to play the way it is currently playing?
Oh, that's definitely not an overreaction. Something got to give. Like I mentioned earlier, like people's jobs are on the line here. So, Getsy, Eberflus, Justin's future, that 5th-year option, like all of this, something has to give. So that's definitely not overreaction.
This is crazy. Just imagine if, because I hate to see this, bro. Justin Fields in a different, like a lot of Bears players, in a different uniform, and he just started balling out.
Yep.
This is just going to be further proof to this organization.
Yeah. And I'm sure you heard the sound clip of Stephen A. Smith. The first thing he said,
Oh, yeah.
the Chicago Bears are trash.
Right.
And he said it with the straightest face ever.
Yep. He was talking about the organization.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. He was talking about the organization. Yeah. And so, yeah. Come on, Grandma. I love you, Grandma. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But come on, Grandma. You and your organization got to get this together. All right. I'm sick of y'all trying to have this same old bull crap, drop back, throw the ball type of stuff. Just play football. All right. On the other hand, is it an overreaction, Jamar, to think that the San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey will end as one of the front runners for most valuable player this season pending health?
Yeah, I'm going to say that's an overreaction right now, just because we know that this has primarily been a quarterback award for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the last running back or the last non-quarterback to win MVP was Adrian Peterson. And that one year when he ran for over 2,000 yards, I think the year after he came back from the ACL. So
robbing Derrick Henry of his a couple years, in my opinion.
Yeah, we was definitely on the train about that one too. So yeah, that's tough. I'm gonna say it's overreaction right now.
Yeah, that's bad, man. To think that in this society that we live in, or in this league that we watch, that the quarterback is just it's a quarterback award. But this guy, Christian McCaffrey, right now is carrying the low key for this team. And I had some thoughts about him in Carolina, but now that brother went to San Francisco, I really see who he is. He's the truth. I was wrong about that. All right. Is it an overreaction to think that the New York Jets, Jamar, should begin to pursue another quarterback out there in the market, or should they stay patient with Zach Wilson?
So last week or the week before, I said just stay the course. But, last Sunday happened against Dallas to where, he kind of resorted back to season one of Disney Channel quarterback Zach Wilson. So I'm going to say it's not an overreaction because this Jets team, like I mentioned in the past with other teams, is a turnkey team. Basically, you insert a competent quarterback and you are a Super Bowl contender. That's what they tried to do. Unfortunately, it ended after 4 plays at the beginning of the year. And so now they're basically back to square one. But the last thing I'll say is, remember I said last week, the Jets have the hardest schedule in the first 6 games of the season. So if he can somehow, just manage that a little bit. If they can go 3-3 out of that, then maybe, just maybe, he might be all right.
Right. Depends. All right. Is it an overreaction to think that if the overwhelming AFC North favorite and preseason Super Bowl contender Cincinnati Bengals fall to 0-3 after this weekend, that you, the media, and the sports world will begin to ask what is currently going on with this Cincinnati Bengals team?
It's not an overreaction. It's not.
Really?
No, that wouldn't be an overreaction if we started asking questions. It wouldn't.
Oh, yes, I agree. Okay, I got you.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we knew that they started out slow last year. And but as you saw, they bounced back and was like maybe a couple plays away from actually being back in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. But difference is Burrow, that calf injury, I think that's definitely a factor. Not to mention, I think the offensive line is still having a little issues there. And the defense, I feel like it's not the same because even though the defense was about average as best last year, you still lost a couple of your best playmakers in the offseason as well. So yeah, in that division, you go 0-3, that's a tall task to climb from, especially if, Baltimore ends up going 3-0 as well.
Right. Additionally, Jamar, is it an overreaction to think that if The Los Angeles Chargers continue their losing ways. That head coach Brandon Staley will be eventually fired.
Oh no, that's definitely not overreaction. I still don't know how he got a job right now. I mean, we all figured that he should have lost his job after that debacle in the playoffs last year against Jacksonville. But somehow, he turned out to be a cat in real form, so he has some lies. So yeah, if they continue to, I don't see him finishing the season if they continue to lose like this.
Right. And so, world, that includes our NFL reactions and overreactions. Feel free to just take note of these reactions and continue to support us. Yeah. All right. Let's now progress, bro, to notable college football matchups. And so we got a few this weekend, world. Number 6, Ohio State, and number 9, Notre Dame. Big game. Jamar, who you got for that one? 6, Ohio State, or 9, Notre Dame?
I'm gonna pick. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm gonna pick Notre Dame.
Yeah, they in South Bend.
I don't think Ohio State is the same team that usually puts fear into this region this year for some reason. I just don't see it. But I think Notre Dame is sneaky good. So
Okay, yeah, they are sneaky good. They're sneaky tough too. And on the other hand, and when I just look at Ohio State, I just keep on thinking about last year in the college football playoff, Jamar, and the chance they had to be national champion. You executed against Georgia. That would have been your banner because you would have beat TCU. Like, crazy.
In all seriousness, they botched that game. Ian, I know you through and through Ohio State fan, even though your favorite color is blue, but still, that your team botched that one.
Yeah, it's really bad. And so, yeah, we'll see how Ohio State responds tomorrow. Responds today, actually. Big game. Also, number 19, Colorado at 10, Oregon. Who you got for this one, bro?
Look, Colorado is America's team. That is the real America's team. But my brain says Oregon. My heart says Colorado, but my brain says Oregon is probably gonna win this game though, for real.
Yeah. I got Notre Dame like you, and I see Oregon actually winning this game. But if Colorado win this game, there's gonna be more eyes on that program. So it's a big one tonight for Colorado. I'll be watching. 7 Penn State versus 24 Iowa. 11 Utah versus 22 UCLA. The number 13 Alabama Crimson Tide, Jamar, who has looked terrible. They don't know who their quarterback is, and their quarterback's out there trashing the joint up. And so Alabama does definitely not look like the Alabama that we've been used to. They look terrible. Versus 15 Ole Miss. 14 Oregon State, also at 21 Oregon State. And so, world, that includes our notable college football matchups for this weekend. Let us now progress to our NFL Week 3 picks. And so we got a lot of big games that's coming up this weekend. And so let's get into it. By the way, congrats, y'all, to Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves, bro. He did something that's very special. He joined the 40-40 club. And so for my baseball fans, that's a big feat right there. Hopefully the Braves can get it done and get 2 or 3 championships because they've been dominant this year for baseball. Getting the best record in baseball. All right.
A quick side note to that. I feel like that headline is a little misleading because it's actually a little bit more extraordinary than that because he's the first player ever in a 40-60 club.
Wow.
And he's flirting with 70 stolen bases here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Thank you for that. He's been fantastic, man. He should be clearly the National League MVP. So if somebody else wins that award, that'd be an atrocity. And so, yes, Atlanta Braves doing big things. All right, bro, tomorrow, Broncos at the Dolphins. Shout out to Russell Wilson and the Broncos, man, who are again doing the same thing they did last year, Jamar. Find a ways to lose game in the final seconds. And so, basically, you know, uh, they gave up the game in the fourth quarter. They did score a Hail Mary in the last few seconds of the game. Um, but even amongst that, it's still a one-score game, and this team loses a lot of one-score games. They just can't seem to get it done all the way, bro, if that makes sense. And so, what do you got for this one tomorrow? Broncos at the Dolphins.
Look, I'm a set a precedent for the Miami Dolphins. Until I can see a team that can drop 30 on the Dolphins, I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. Like going forward. Like the Miami Dolphins are a real contender here. We saw glimpses of it last year when Tua was healthy, and it looked like this team has turned the corner here. And then not to mention their defense is actually pretty good, and they don't even have one of their best players yet.
Right.
And like you mentioned, the Broncos are dysfunctional. Um, Even though I feel like their offense has moved the ball a little bit better this year than last year, but still, I got Miami.
Yeah, I think it's a good game tomorrow, Jamar. I think it is. I think the Broncos are again in the game as they always are. But I think at the end of the day, the Dolphins come out with the win. So I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. Patriots at the Jets. Patriots, they fought their first two games as well. Just have come up short, short end of the stick, as they say, against Disney Channel quarterback Zach Wilson. But he's at home tomorrow. He tends to play a little better at home. So who you got for this one, bro?
Believe it or not, I am going to take the Disney Channel quarterback Zach Wilson in the New York Jets, and it's more so because the parts around the New York Jets, more so their defense. I feel like the defense is going to actually come to play. I get it. Last week, we had two top defenses, but if the defense is always on the field, then you get tired. But I feel like in this case, Cowboys and the Patriots are two different stratospheres. Jets, I feel like they still playing hard. I got the Jets winning this one.
I got the Jets too, but guess what? I want to point out something, Jamar.
All
That we always Houdini's in an early morning sports talk podcast. But if the Patriots lose this game tomorrow, when will we begin to start talking about Mac Jones?
That's tough.
I'm just saying. He really hasn't done much. He's been equivalent to Mitchell Trubisky, if not worse. They made the playoffs because of a well-rounded team, not necessarily because of Mac. A couple years ago, they missed the playoffs last year. Don't get me wrong; they've been a team that's been 9 and something, 8 and something, etc. in that ballpark. Where are you, Dominique McKinney? Where are you? And so you want to talk about our Bears? Just know, Dominique McKinney, and I hope we put this out here, that if your Patriots fall to 0-3 and they 0-3 is similar to our Bears possibly tomorrow, I just want to know what you got to say. This is also for the other Patriots fan, my boy Dwayne Hawkins. And so, it's about time we begin to look at Mac Jones, especially if he loses tomorrow and he goes 0-3. What are you going to say, Jamar?
Yeah, but the one thing I would say with that is, like, what if Mac Jones actually plays well and the Jets still end up dominating this game? Like, should we be looking at Mac Jones or should we turn our attention to Bill Belichick?
That's a good point. And so if he plays well tomorrow, then we begin to look at team more. But the thing is, he hasn't played well. And so I'm just paying attention to the trend as of late. But if he plays well tomorrow, I mean, that'd be good. That'd be nice. But it'll still be an 0-3 football team with him at the quarterback position.
True.
And so we'll see how things progress with that game. That's a big one for the Patriots tomorrow. The Texans at the Jaguars, bro. Who you got for this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jacksonville here. I know that they had a tough loss last week, and they actually, I feel like they played a little bit better than what that score was. 17-9 to Kansas City.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely think Duval County here will definitely rally and take care of Houston here.
Okay, they got to come out motivated. The Jags, they got to, because the Texans are a bad football team. I won't say they're a bad football team. They just look really, really bad. It was a big drop off from week one compared to last week, where they got dominated by Indianapolis on their own field. And so let's see how the Texans come out tomorrow. But I have no reason to pick the Texans, so I got the Jags.
At all. And the last thing I'll say is if we think the Jaguars are going to be this team that we think they are, these are the type of games they need to come out and dominate.
They need to come out and win this game. Absolutely. Because then if they don't, Tennessee come around and they win, etc., possibly, then people start being like, all right, Brian Trasher-Hill ain't trash.
No, he's still trash, but
speaking of Brian Trasher-Hill, they got a win last week, Jamar. And so they're going up against the Browns. And so who you got for this one?
So we got one trash quarterback and we got one that's very underwhelming these days. And the horrific injury to Nick Chubb does not help at all for the Cleveland Browns. However, I still believe Cleveland gets it done because I feel like even though Nick Chubb is out and he is was arguably the best overall running back in the league, but I feel like it's almost like a plug and play there because if you saw Jeremy Ford, I think that's his name.
If you saw Jeremy Ford,
or Jerome Ford, whatever his name is.
Ooh, Jerome Ford. It ain't Jeremy, it's Jerome. Get
Jerome
it right,
Ford. Yes.
It's Jerome Ford. Number 24.
Came in, was doing his thing, and I don't think that's a fluke either. So they still got that going. Amari Cooper's healthy. You can pass on Tennessee. Running on them is a little different story, but I feel like the Browns defense is going to have a nice day against Trasher-Hill. So I got Cleveland.
Yeah, and you bring up a very, very good here, man. Like Jerome Ford is out there, and he looked very explosive. I mean, this kid like he can play some football, and so I'm very interested in the ground and pound tomorrow for both of these teams. I feel like Deshaun Watson, Jamar, still kind of getting his groove back, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like you see him out there scrambling, but he does not look nowhere near as fast as he looked in Houston. You feel me, bro? Like he out there trying to kind of get it back. You know how old man that kind of went away for a minute, then he come back and he trying to get it back. You know, and that's kind of how I feel about Deshaun Watson. He's trying to get it back right now. So, this should be a good football game. I'm gonna go with the Browns at home. But Jerome Ford has to go out there and play a good football game. And Kareem Hunt, who they picked back up this week, got to contribute as he has in the past. But it's asking a lot because this is his first game back. Will he even be active and involved? We'll see. Falcons at the Lions. Your boy Ritter, man. You told us about the Falcons. They 2-0. They at Detroit tomorrow. Who you got for this one?
Man,
it's a tough one.
It's a little interesting. I would have never I did pick the Falcons to win this division, but I didn't think they'd be 2-0 out the gate like this. And last week, how they clawed their way to victory, that was a little impressive. Ritter impressed me a little bit. He got some Shane Falco in him. I see that. All right. With that being said, I'm taking Detroit. I think Detroit, that very heartbreaking loss last week, just as like last year against Seattle. Apparently, Seattle breaks their hearts every time. But I think Detroit probably run up the scoreboard here. Seriously, I got the Lions.
Yeah, I got Detroit. Detroit's the way better football team. No disrespect to the Falcons. Falcons, they blessed, as we say in the church, tomorrow to be 2-0. I got the Lions. Saints at the Packers. Packers suffered a very tough loss last week too, and I feel like the Saints, Derek Carr, he has kind of played mistake-free football. Nothing fancy, very boring team, but they play some defense, Shamar. They play some great defense, and they play some great special teams. And on top of that, the offense is at least productive. They do got two great wide receivers. I still believe Michael Thomas is a great wide receiver, but Chris Olave is taking that next step, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's taking that next step now to be the man down there in New Orleans. And so who you got for this one, bro? Saints, Packers. I think this is going to be a good game right here, man.
It should be, right? Because this is one of those prove-it games for me, Jordan Love. Jordan Love hasn't played bad. I give him that.
He's played fantastic.
I'm not going that far. But
Jamar, he looked so good last week. He didn't turn the ball over or nothing. I mean, he could have had a pick last week, but like 300 yards again, no interceptions. He did everything. Even the coach was consoling him last week. Remember, if you watched the game, Matt LaFleur put him to the side and he said, "Son, we didn't lose this game because of you. We need to fix this team," because he played fantastic last week.
I'm still not saying the word fantastic,
Okay.
but I'm not giving him that credit yet. Yeah, and maybe is that a little bias speaking to me? Probably, but still,
Okay.
he's not. He doesn't look half bad at all. But this is definitely one of those prove it games to me. Like, yeah, you're at home, but the Saints definitely has a defense. Derek Carr is a veteran. I'll say that much. Olave is the truth. Michael Thomas, when he decides to play and is healthy, he's not bad either these days. I mean, that's Ohio State tandem for you right there. I'm gonna take New Orleans, but I'm gonna say Green Bay. Show me something. But I'll also say this depends if Christian Watson plays, Aaron Jones plays. It's a bunch of questionable people. So
Right. So, yeah, let me know if Aaron Jones is playing. But basically, from the looks of things, the Saints, their offense has not been impressive, but their defense has been very impressive. The Packers' offense has been pretty good. Jordan Love has been great. Mistake-free football. He looks like a baby Aaron Rodgers out there, I can say the least. The way he releasing that ball, the way he getting it out, the way he gunslinging, he is playing great football thus far these first 2 weeks. So if I had to pick between the Saints and Packers tomorrow, I'm gonna pick the Saints to go on the road and beat the Packers. And then possibly narratives will begin to be like, all right, are the Packers who we thought they were? And so I'm gonna go with the Saints. Do you have any update on Aaron Jones?
just he's officially questionable for the game, so we'll know at the latest, probably
Tomorrow
about
morning.
27 hours from now.
Yeah, right, exactly. Tomorrow morning. Yep. And so yeah, all right. Yeah, but I'm gonna pick the Saints to go in and beat the Packers, and I think what will be actually a defensive struggle. Yeah. All right. Bills at the Commanders. The Commanders are 2-0, bro.
Yeah, they are. They
But for now,
Yeah, seriously. This here is interesting because the Commanders. I'm still not a full believer in Sam Howell, but he's doing enough. Defense has played well. Brian Robinson, my gosh, he has been excellent to me so far this year.
yeah.
Um, maybe because Eric Bieniemy is there. Maybe that's made a
Right.
difference.
Yep.
So I'm going to say hail to the Commanders. I
Wow.
said they beat Buffalo. I think that's a trap game for the Bills.
Mm.
And I'm still not sold on Josh Allen protecting the football like he should.
Mm. Yeah, Commanders got a great defense. That's one thing they always keep with Ron Rivera. I'm gonna go with the Bills though. I think the Bills are hungry, talented. They got that bad taste in their mouth from these last couple of years, and they realize it's a window. I'm gonna go with the Bills. The Chargers at the Vikings. Somebody gonna get their first win tomorrow, bro. Unless they tie.
Well, I'm gonna say, will they?
But how they been acting, both of these teams, man, it's possible they might end up tying tomorrow. I kid you not. And so, but if you had to pick, who would you pick between these squads? Chargers, Vikings.
Jeez.
I tell you what, Jamar. Chargers lose tomorrow. I'm telling you, them rumblers gonna start growing.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Chargers do lose tomorrow. I'm actually picking your undercover Minnesota Vikings team on this one.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at the wide receivers and the quarterbacks, and that's the only thing I look at with this game. Will the defenses step up tomorrow? This should be a good game. Two evenly matched teams. I feel like they're not great teams, but they're not bad.
I think Justin Jefferson has a field day.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Justin Jefferson, But then I'm looking at them low key good receivers for the Chargers too.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and so it should be a fun game. Um,
There's no Eckler.
no Eckler, okay. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna still go with the Chargers. I think the Vikings find a way to probably lose this game, and and the Chargers finally find a way to win a football game. But I kid you not, if the Chargers lose tomorrow, it's going to be a lot of rumblings about Brandon Staley and his stability as head coach of this franchise. So just be on the lookout for that, world. On the other hand, the Colts at the Ravens. Colts at the Ravens. Who you got for this one?
I'm gonna take Baltimore. If Anthony Richardson was playing, I might lean towards the Colts, but he's rolled out as Minshew mania. I don't think Minshew mania is going to be a real mania in Baltimore. I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, Minshew mania played great last week, but it was against the Texans. I'm gonna take the Ravens at home as well. Think the Ravens defense come up big tomorrow in a actually contested game. The Panthers at the Seahawks, bro. Who you got for this one?
So no Bryce Young. Insert the rusty rifle. I'm taking Seattle.
I'm taking Seattle as well. Bryce Young, even with him, they looked terrible last week. They looked terrible. So I gotta pick the Seahawks. Bears at the Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Got Kansas City as well. Cowboys at the Cardinals.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, this took way too long, bro.
It didn't process in my head. I feel like Justin Fields for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, Cancun, Dallas.
Yes.
Right. And the Steelers at the Raiders. Should be a good one.
That is interesting. That is very interesting.
These are good. I feel like they kind of evenly match football teams.
Yeah. I actually expect the Steelers offense to move the ball against them.
Yeah. They did last week against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually take the steel curtain here.
Seems like when I don't pick the Raiders, they win.
Mind games, Debo.
I'm telling you, man. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers too. I think the Steelers they that team. They on their way. They on their way rising up, Jamar. So I got the Steelers, bro. Yeah, and I hate to pick against my boy Jimmy G. I really do. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers. On the other hand, the Eagles at the Bucks. Bucks 2-0, bro. Do the Bucks take care of home field tomorrow?
So the eye test usually works well for me. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm gonna take the Bucks, and it's because the Eagles and the guy because as you know, I'm at Walmart at 6 a.m. every Saturday morning. So before I get on here, I'm at Walmart doing stuff, and so the guy on the radio made an excellent point that summed it up why I'm seeing the Eagles the way they are. I didn't realize, or I forgot to realize, that both their coordinators are gone and are actually head coaches of different teams between the Cardinals and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the transition period because the Eagles defense are allowing so many passing yards. The Eagles offense does not look fluent, even though they ran the ball pretty well, but it was against the Vikings last week.
Right.
But we know the Buccaneers defense is actually pretty good.
They force turnovers, a lot of them.
They do. And Baker Mayfield is living his best life right now. He's confident. I think he's more confident in his offense than Jalen Hurts is in his offense right now.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
Yeah. So I don't blame you if you pick the Eagles, but my gut says the Bucks on this one.
Wow. Yeah. I can see your point though, man, especially with them being at home.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles find a way to that Super Bowl fervor, man, that you know how them squads, Jamar, some of them just been through battles. Yeah. They get a battle tomorrow, I think, in Tampa. They get a real battle tomorrow. But I think some of that championship experience from the guys like Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Hurts, I think that comes through tomorrow. And I think that defense comes up big and they make some big plays tomorrow. and they do enough to escape Tampa. So I got the Eagles. The Rams at the Bengals. Rams
Yeah,
played really good week 1. They played tough week 2. Um, who do you got for this one? Rams at Bengals.
yeah. I mean, Rams are playing a lot better than I thought they would. I thought they would just roll over and just pass away at this point, but they're not. They're alive and well.
Right.
Um, for the Bengals' sake, I'm gonna pick them because we just talked about it not too long ago. They lose this game.
Right.
That's a tough hole to climb. That means you are technically 4 games behind the division leader if the Ravens win. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. And on a side note, I appreciate having 2 Monday night games these days. I like that. That's
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? And so yeah, for me, I'm gonna pick the Bengals as well for their sake, just like you. They better win this game because if they don't, things will begin to really begin to be questioned around Cincinnati. What is going on? Is the cause our quarterback is he out there partying? Like, is the money getting to his head or what? Like, is it the loss of a few players? Like, what could
probably
it be?
is it
And
the
so
calf injury still? Like something got to give.
exactly. So there will be questions definitely around Cincinnati. So, all right, world, that concludes our NFL Week 3 picks. And so let us now progress as we talk about more sports. And so, additionally, we gave y'all our Week 3 picks, but let's also, Jamar, just hit on one thing quickly before we get out of here. I want to talk about the Bears just really quickly, bro. What do the Bears have to do tomorrow in order to rejuvenate this city, in order to bring some life back to this franchise? Um, if you're the offensive coordinator, what do? Like, do you play a basic game again? Do you try to take some chances? Do you let Justin play? Do you not worry about what the people say and you go ahead and continue to call bubble screens? Um, what do the Bears need to do tomorrow to bring some rejuvenation and be competitive in this game tomorrow, or at least pull out a potential upset?
The Bears need to give Justin Fields the keys to the car and let him play. Let that man play. Let him put fear in your defense again. Because as we know, like even in a traditional setting, right? If your team is one dimensional, you're kind of easily to be beaten. So in this instance, if you have the RPOs, the read options, the design runs to have the defense on their heels or more so in the box, and then you able to take deep shots down the field, you become a lot more versatile. You really put Kansas City in a chokehold to where they don't know what they're doing on
Right.
defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know the offense, Kansas City offense, for the most part, should get theirs, even though they have not looked the best offensively as we know them to look like this year so far. But we still feel like Travis Kelce can still end up with 3 touchdowns. We still feel like Patrick Mahomes can go out there and throw for 5 touchdowns tomorrow. We feel that way. Like that's not make believe. That could be a real thing. But Justin Fields, you have to let that man loose and just let him play freely. He cannot, like his words, cannot be robotic, cannot be sitting there overthinking. We getting all this information like you've been preparing throughout the whole week. Just go play.
Mm-hmm.
Just go play. That's what they need to do. And if you want to really rejuvenate the city, if you really want to like change the narrative, when fix this, you win. You win this game.
You win this game.
Winning cures all. It don't matter what you got going on. It don't matter how many distractions, just like with the Bulls in the 90s with Dennis Rodman doing whatever. You know why it didn't become an issue? Because they won. Yep. Had they been losing, had they not won any of those championships, of course, it'd be a big thing. But it's not. They win. You got to go out there and win.
Yes, exactly. Looking forward to this game tomorrow. One thing I want to say, Jamar, is the Bears tend to do good. Sometimes we don't expect them to. And Justin Fields, he tends to come out and play harder, especially against tougher opponents. And so we'll see how the Bears play tomorrow. They could come out and surprise some folks. All right, bro. So as we head into the weekend, Any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into our weekend, bro?
Well, the final shout out goes back to the Chicago Bears because you know what? Um, this has been one of the craziest weeks we've probably ever had at Hallis Hall and just in the Bears in general. Between, you know, cutting Nathan Peterman, that's nothing. Braxton Jones, that's IR, that's whatever. But when you start talking about, defensive coordinators not making games and, hearing all these rumors and stuff of what's going on and FBI raiding facilities, and then of course the nice little, $100,000 getting stolen out of the Soldier Field, just go through the security gate like this is Grand Theft Auto or some type of Gone in 60 Seconds type movie type deal, Fast and the Furious or something. Like, bro, what is going on? And then on top of it, Justin Fields, indirectly or directly, whatever you want to call it, throwing his coach under the bus. But just all of this just happening in a very short span of time. Like, look, Ryan Poles, I feel like for the most part, you have done a good job. You have been a lot better than Ryan Pace. I give you that much. You have. But it's like everything just happening. And I know Kevin Warren that just stepped in as the president, just sitting here like yo, like I know he's like got a checklist of how many people he's probably about to clean house on when it's all said and done. Because I'm told he's not scared of doing that because he will do it. But all in all, like, we are in the news for the wrong reasons. If you like I just said 2 minutes ago, if you want to solve this, if you really want to get rid of this narrative, you win. Just go out there and win. I don't expect you to, but if you did, we'll be singing a way different tune Monday morning.
So. Exactly. Bears, go out and play hard tomorrow. Come on, y'all. Y'all can do this. Go out, play hard tomorrow. Go out, win this game. Go out, surprise some folks. Go out and make people start questioning Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City rather than questioning us. That's how you turn narratives around. Go out there and start making people question the best quarterback in football. Win this game, make a big statement, and use this as momentum to say, if we can beat Kansas City, Jamar, we can beat anybody. That's my final thought for the Chicago Bears. You can beat Kansas City, you can beat anybody. God damn it, if the Bears heard this, they should be motivated and ready to run out on the field and go crazy right now. If you can beat Patrick Mahomes, you can beat anybody. This is a big game for y'all. Respond to the challenge and give this city and give the sports world something positive to talk about. And so on that note, we thank you all for rocking with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We truly, truly appreciate the love and support. We, again, are thankful for our brother Ian. He getting to the bag this weekend. We're thankful for our brother Daryl, who had to get to the bag as well. And so we appreciate you guys. We truly, truly do. And so with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we love you. We appreciate your support. And we hope you all have a blessed and safe weekend. Peace.